is that rather than kind of wasting time today, what we'll do is that, so the basic code will be like this. There will be just some minor setting that we need to make out and make this code work. Okay. So give me one moment of time, 1 minute time. If I'm able to figure out that, we'll try to do that. Or else what we'll do is that I will, after this lab, after this class, I will try to figure out that setting, giving some more time. And then on the same code, the code will be same, but I think there will be some parameters that needs to be set out to make this code work. Okay, similar to Nmap. So just give me 1 minute time. If I'm not able to figure out, I will kind of exclude this part. So just give me 1 second. So it's the last try from my end. If I'm not able to kind of run this lab, I will not waste further time, and we will kind of approach this lab from a different way again. Okay. So yeah, so thing is that our code is working fine, like it is sending out the packet, but there is some issues with the setting, which I need to kind of figure out later, by which we can kind of make this code work. Because the same packet, when it was sent out by the Nmap, it was able to kind of, let's say, utilize that. Okay, it was able to kind of able to get the response, but we are not getting the same response, right? So we'll try to figure that out, okay, in the next class. The other thing, what there's a backup plan for that. What we also do is that we run the Nmap, we capture the packet, and then we use one of the packet as our we just add we use that Nmap packet which was sent out by the Nmap in our variable, which is the packet, and then over there we change the settings, let's say the port numbers and all. So what will happen is that what I believe is that there are multiple other values that were sent in the set in the packet, which by the Nmap, which made that thing work. So we can just copy that out from the Nmap itself and take it in our code. Okay, so I will not invest more time on that part for today. What we do is that I will figure it out in my free time, and then next time in our call I will try to kind of address that out. Okay, guys. So but the thing is that the code that I have shared as of now, it will be the same one, but there will be some minor changes in the same code, and which will make this thing actually work out. Okay, so I hope this is all fine for today, and now let me go to the next topic. And in the meantime, guys, if you have any questions, so feel free to kind of interrupt me and kind of ask that out.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, yeah, please go on.
So actually, I have a question like, since Nmap is open source and it's like more sophisticated, so in what case do we need to like run our own skills to scan the open source and this stuff?
Yeah.
So when will
Yeah. So there are few things where this code will be helpful. The first thing is, let's say, Nmap is definitely open source, but like it has multiple kind of like let's say multiple different kind of arguments that a person needs to know. And thing is that there might be a scenario where, let's say, you want to do, let's say, some kind of a different scanning. Okay, some kind of a different scanning. Uh, let's say, for an example, you want to scan for a port. You want to scan it for a port, and let's say if that port is open, as an so my objective over here is to kind of give you an intention. Like, my intention is to kind of, let's say, understand you guys how the nmap actually works in the background, so that, because there are certain is like, whenever I deal with an incident, I normally use nmap. Okay, I normally use nmap to kind of figure out, okay, what are the open ports in that website, or let's say in that url. But here we also need to know, okay, if there is certain kind of limitations. Let's say we want to understand how the attacker would kind of approach that. So attacker would kind of, let's say, what they can do is, let's say, they can kind of add a functionality where it scans the port, and once it scans the port, maybe it will add certain more functionality where, let's say, it sends out an exploits code on that port to, let's say, exploit the server that is running on that port, for example, to get a remote access. So you can do the same thing also over nmap, but it's quite complicated. But the thing is that if you, as an attacker, let's say, as a SOC professional, if you guys also get a chance to, let's say, be a part of the red team, for an example. So in that kind of fashion, this knowledge will be helpful, actually, where what you can do is that, let's say, you write your own code, which scans the thing, and then based on that, if that code is kind of open, what you do is that you tell your code to send down a specific exploit to that server to, let's say, exploit that one for any kind of vulnerability. So thing is that, knowing how the attacker does the scanning, and also you might encounter few scenarios where, let's say, the nmap won't be able to help you out to do some kind of, let's say, the any kind of stealth scanning or not. So in that case, you can kind of have like this knowledge, as well as a backup. You can use this to kind of implement your own nmap quickly and kind of achieve your objective. Okay, so basically this code will be also helpful to with two intentions. One is to understand how the attacker or how the nmap actually works in background, so that it will give you a more grasp of the thing when you are seeing any kind of network traffic. And also it will be helpful when let's say you become sometime, let's say, you are dealing with any kind of a scenario where you are conducting any red team kind of case over the company. In that case also, you can use this base code, and you can customize this one as per your need to kind of achieve certain objectives without depending always on the tool, which is the nmap tool. Okay, because there might be certain limitations that you might encounter. So for example, let's say you want to do some multi-threaded based scanning, like parallel scanning. Okay, so parallel scanning, even though there are commands for that in nmap, most of the time it doesn't work that efficiently. Okay, it doesn't utilize your own code, for an example. Okay, so in that case, what you can do is that using this code, you can kind of, let's say, if you want to scan a IP at a very fast manner, so even without, like, let's say that if the nmap is not allowing you to do a parallel based scanning, uh, you can implement that on your own code and quickly kind of scan any kind of a url and figure out what are open ports are there. So let's say, for an example, yesterday itself I was dealing with a case where actually there was one attacker IP address, and I had to kind of figure out what are the kind of ports open for that IP address. So thing is that I just so in that case I actually use the nmap tool itself to kind of figure out what are the ports open to that attacker IP address, just to kind of understand, okay, what are the services, are there any kind of website on that IP address and all. So I could have also done that using, let's say, using my own code rather than depending on the nmap. Because what happens is, like, when you do a normal nmap scanning, and let's say you are scanning from, let's say, port number 1 to, let's say, port number 999999, so for each scanning it will take, let's say, around 0.5 seconds. Okay, so if you just calculate, it will take around 0.5 into 9999 to complete that scanning. Now nmap has a feature already which does some kind of parallel scanning, but sometimes it doesn't work. So if I have a IP address, for an example, which I want to kind of